When it comes to reward travel, you're not bad at this. It was just explained wrong. So often, we gloss over all of the foundational core concepts that make reward travel possible and then start getting into the higher level, really exciting redemptions. But then we miss the foundational pieces that leave so many women behind and confused, so they don't know where to start. That's where this masterclass comes in. Hi, my name is Lisa Mecham. I am the founder of Her Travel Club, where I teach women how to maximize their credit card rewards so that they can get free or hugely discounted flights and hotels and create amazing experiences for themselves and their family. So let's dive in. The real problem in all of this is not intelligence, it's not income, it's not discipline. It's misaligned information and fear and confusion. And so that's what I really hope that this masterclass dissolves for all of us, so that way you can really start taking these trips and using these amazing strategies and have some serious fun with all of it. So first and foremost, I feel like we need to take a huge step back when it comes to credit cards. And the concept behind reward travel is there are certain cards that are going to give you bonuses and perks in the form of reward points that you can exchange for points and miles. So we're going to back up a little bit further and let's pretend like you are in line at a store in the mall. And as you're checking out, the cashier is going to offer you a credit card. And one of the perks that that card is going to give you is 10% off everything in the store. It feels like a big win because you feel like a VIP. However, that reward is really, really limited. That perk is not actually worth your time, and it will often have an insanely high interest rate if you don't pay your statement balance off in full anyways, but that's another thing. That perk is 10% off in the store. There's other credit cards where their perk is cash back, where they give you a small percentage of cash back for everything you put on the card. We're not talking about these cards either. The cards that we're talking about when it comes to reward travel and everything that I cover in my work is reward travel credit cards. Now, these fall into two different categories, and those are co-branded cards and not co-branded cards. Now, if you're just getting started, I highly recommend you go with not a co-branded card. If you want to take an amazing trip or take your family on a trip, so often it can be appealing to start with something like the Delta American Express card. However, once you've accumulated reward points under that umbrella, you cannot transfer them out. The easiest example I can think of is this. If you were to open up the Delta American Express card, they're going to give you an awesome welcome bonus saying thank you so much for being here. And they're going to position themselves as an amazing travel card offering you the illusion of a lot of free flights and benefits. However, it's a lot harder to get these miles to stretch really far, and you're going to be a lot more limited because you can only book Delta flights. Whereas if you open the American Express Gold card, that card actually has higher benefits for the average spending and is going to give you American Express reward points, not Delta Sky Miles. If you are accumulating American Express reward points, what you can do is transfer them to Delta to use them as Sky Miles, but you can also transfer them to Hilton Honors to book your hotel. You can also transfer them over to Virgin Airlines to book. You can transfer them to United. There's just so many different transfer partners. So you're not limited. And if one airline has an amazing deal, you can transfer your points over to that airline and get that amazing deal. Whereas if you started with the Delta American Express card, you're very, very, very limited. Does this make sense? I really hope that this is making sense. And so that's why when I teach structuring your budget and maximizing reward redemptions, I'm not talking about co-branded cards. I actually have a free resource below where you're watching this video that's going to guide you through my top 5 recommended cards so you can choose which one is best for you and your family and your fit. But They're going to be the ones that are going to give you the maximum value and the most flexibility, which, especially if you're a family, we need the most amount of flexibility so that we can get our points to stretch further and pay for more seats and more hotel rooms, because we're always booking group bookings. Now, through these travel reward credit cards, which again is a specific criteria of credit card, the kind of points you're earning do not equate to dollars. And so, for example, we're going to go back to the Delta American Express card. This is a very common card for travelers because it's Delta. We love Delta. Who doesn't love Delta? Often, when you're going to look at flights to book through Delta, it can cost anywhere from 56,000 points to 120,000 points. Sometimes you can find deals, and that's really, really wonderful. However, it's going to cost a lot of points to book a flight. Often, once you've accumulated 50,000 points, you can redeem those for about $500 in cash using your points as a cashback card. But I really don't recommend it because that's really not going to give you the most bang for your buck. As we are accumulating these reward points, these points of miles, all these different terms for essentially reward travel, their value depends entirely on how you use them. And this is where so many people get overwhelmed and confused and do it wrong and end up wasting their points. They don't go very far, and they don't understand how families like mine are able to travel the world using reward points. And there's really a two-part formula when it comes to this process. There is accumulating points, and then there is strategically spending them to get the maximum value. For example, in a video that I'm about to publish later on, I booked a one-way economy seat from New York to London for 4,200 points. But I've also been on flights where flight attendants have charged 7,200 points for one soda on the flight. As you can see, your point values really don't follow currency whatsoever. And so you can get amazing redemptions. It really is in how you spend them. So like I said before, all points are not created equal. Some are transferable, they're flexible, while others are locked. If your credit card has another company logo on it, your points are locked. If you are putting things on a Marriott Bonvoy card, a Hilton Honors card, a Delta Amex, American Airlines card, your Frontier card, those points are locked. You can only book travel on that airline or through that hotel group. Whereas if you get a generic reward travel card, you're able to make those miles go so much further. This is not cash back. This is different than a lot of credit cards out there. This is a specific system using strategic cards that is going to help generate amazing trips. Another thing that I see in reward travel is a lot of content is created for couples or a single traveler, but there really is a huge gap when we start looking at families of 5 or more, like mine. I'm a family of 6. And just for context, oh my gosh, in the last 18 months, we've all flown to Paris, we've gone to Vegas, we've gone to Mexico, my kids have been to Switzerland, they're gonna go to New York and London. We've taken multiple Las Vegas trips. Me and my husband went to Costa Rica for our anniversary. I just got back from a solo Paris trip. We also did a couples work trip to Hawaii, all using reward points, you guys. This is so possible once you learn how to accumulate them and then how to maximize them. Again, we're talking about getting a soda on the flight for almost double what you could get a one-way ticket to Europe. When you're first getting started with reward travel and you're first wanting to kind of dip your toes in, a lot of the things that I see people getting really hung up on is the verbiage and the definitions of things. With reward travel, as I mentioned before, there is a whole new vocabulary, and so often there are words that really all mean the same thing, but different companies will call them different things. What I've done is I've put together a free resource for you below this video, and it's going to walk through all the terms that you need to know so that if you're looking through your own credit card statements and you're wondering what kind of card you have, you know exactly what to look for. So be sure to check that out. The other thing that I see a lot of people getting hung up on when they're first dipping their toes into this whole world is making an irreversible mistake. And I assure you, first, we've all done it. We've all done it. We've all made mistakes as we're learning through this. It's okay. It's all right. Nothing is permanent. We'll figure it all out. The other is that there's a lot of conflicting advice online. You'll see so much content out there about a concept called credit card churning. Now, what this means essentially is you're opening a lot of credit cards every single year and then accumulating the welcome bonus or the sign-on bonus so that way you have a lot of points very quickly. This is a strategy that's really effective. However, that's not what my work has been about. My work is about developing a system for your existing budget using 1 to 2 cards. So you may need to open 1 to 2 cards to get started so that way you can start earning these reward points. And then it just works for you for years to come. I focus on creating sustainable systems that are going to work for you and your house for several years. And I teach you how to get back those annual fees. So you're actually making money holding those cards. You're not just paying an annual fee and then saying, but I got a free trip. You really paid for it with your annual fee. And I teach you how to make this a repeatable system and how to maximize your points so that way you can cover flights and hotel at least once a year on an epic family trip of 5 or more. I invite you to view this masterclass as a starting point, as a jumping off point, so that way you can really see what's possible and have the foundation to move forward and create this for your family. Feeling overwhelmed is totally normal and it's totally temporary. As we discussed a little bit, a family of 5 or more really breaks the system of reward travel when it comes to a lot of advice out there. And so that's why I felt it was really important for me to share my strategies as a family of 6. Because when it comes to family vacations, you need to work around school calendars. You need to find flights with multiple seats. And you need your points to stretch further to pay for multiple seats. You also need hotels that sleep more than 2 people and that you can get close together. And further, you need all of this with simplicity and in a repeatable way. And that's really what we're all about. Because a lot of the advice out there works really beautifully for a single person or a couple, but it kind of collapses once you add the group booking aspect. So again, in this framework that we're going to be covering, we are going through a step-by-step foundational process that is designed around families, specifically groups of 5 or more. We're going to build it around money that you already spend. So we're not increasing your monthly spend whatsoever. We're really working within your existing budget. We're also creating the system so that it can be repeated every single year. You're not going through all of this work and then getting one vacation, even though that would be great. Really what's happening is you're developing a lifestyle where travel now becomes so attainable. We're going to be focused on actually booking the trip and not making everything look super perfect and getting all business class seats and, crazy things like that. We're really focused on providing the experience for you and your family. We're going to be calm, we're going to be ethical, and we're going to be intentional through this entire process. So what this system is not, what this masterclass is not going to teach you to do, I am not going to teach you credit card churning. That's a whole other beast that I'm not going to teach you. I am also not, and I would unfollow anybody that is going to encourage you to carry balances. This system works if you pay off your balances, your entire statement balance in full every single month. It also works if you have good enough credit to get these credit cards. And it works when we are not impulsive with our decisions. Again, we're going to go back to if your flight attendant is selling you a travel credit card, you do not want that. We are going to be intentional with how we set this up for your house and your budget and your spending, not what is going to look impressive online or what travel influencers are doing. Most families will need to open 1 to 2 credit cards to set this system up. And they're going to need to be specific, intentional reward travel cards. Again, once these are set up, you are not opening any cards every year. We are sticking with these two and running your expenses through these two to maximize your rewards. We're going to use these cards responsibly. We're going to use them intentionally. We're going to pay them off every single month, and it's going to be beautiful. Again, if you need recommendations for my top favorite cards, then get that free resource below this video, because we do not trade financial peace for plane tickets. We get free and hugely discounted plane tickets. Now, getting started with reward travel can feel overwhelming, and I totally understand being nervous to set the system up. However, our kids are only home with us for so long, and you only have so many summers with them where you have the flexibility to take them on amazing vacations. And it goes so fast, so fast. I have 3 teenagers right now, and it is wild how quick it all went. Really, when it comes down to it, your points that are unused is just memories that you've missed. Just hoarding them isn't going to do you any good in creating more meaningful relationships with your kids. But an amazing vacation, they're going to remember that the rest of their lives. I also feel like it needs to be stated that I believe there has never been a more important time to travel with your kids internationally. I feel like the more polarizing and the more segregation we're seeing, the more important it is to show your children the world, to show them that this is not normal, to show them that the world isn't scary, and to show them that there is so many more experiences and joy to be had outside of this bubble. I also think that as women, it is our duty to travel as much as possible, because we are our grandmother's dream. I mean, I was alive when women could get their own businesses without a male co-signer. And my sisters were alive when we could get a bank account without a male co-signer. My grandma, when she traveled, she moved and never saw the people that she left behind again. And now we're able to go and explore these amazing places and be back in a week. I feel like it's such a beautiful way to honor them, to enjoy that freedom and that privilege, and to not squander it because we're afraid of being uncomfortable and because we're afraid of setting up the system that will make it possible. I love looking at my family history and then traveling to places that I'm from. I feel like it's so good, especially for our kids, to see where we came from, because when it comes down to it, we are all immigrants here. Unless you're a Native American, you're an immigrant. And I think that it's really cool to see where our family history is from. So thank you for listening to my little soapbox moment, but back to setting up this foundational system for you to really work for you. Because once you understand the basics, fear starts to turn into certainty, and vocabulary turns into confidence, and points turn into plans. You're going to stop feeling like you're guessing and start feeling really capable. So we're going to start really diving into the foundational aspects and what to do next in the next video. So be sure you click right here, and I will see you there.